Well, when you're a neophyte, you don't know because you're secretly looking to get high. You secretly want out. You're a neophyte. You're looking to achieve whatever it is to achieve instantly, as fast as possible. So you're very susceptible to get caught because the woman who's skilled is providing an illusion of, first of all, as a man, an inexperienced man or immature man, you think that by getting a woman, it means you're a man. Like I told you before in some other video, my father told me this when I was a kid. He says, أنت فاكر نفسك راجل علشان بتنيك, which means you think you're a man because you're fucking. And a lot of men think that. That's why they like to accumulate notch counts. They like to accumulate number of girls. Then they want to have so-called more pretty girls because somewhere in their psyche it defines their manhood. But if your manhood is defined by the woman, you got an issue. So a neophyte who's looking for he wants to quickly arrive wherever the hell he thinks he needs to arrive, he's very susceptible to get manipulated by the woman because she provides, number one, a form of status and ego satisfaction. She can provide a form of bliss or ecstasy or whatever the hell you want to call. And she also provides a form of like, And depending on how powerful she is, she can really give you that experience. And because you're an idiot and you don't know yourself and you don't know all your mental constrictions, in other words, that you're trying to like get the fuck out of yourself, you may like, okay, it's there. So you're very susceptible to get caught. And once you get caught, you just sign a contract, you didn't realize, you just wanted to get laid and get a moment's rest, and then you just sign a contract that's gonna last you 5 years. If you get the fuck out after 5 years, and God knows what you're gonna sow during those 5 years, which is gonna create more fucking issue. So again, this is what I'm trying to say. This is why everybody needs a teacher, so that you don't get caught in at every pit or whatever. You get caught all the time by every trap, every trick, everything, because you don't know. Once you gain a certain level of experience and you start to actually experience the flow inside yourself and understand the difference, then you start to, we say the current becomes your master. Because now you have a sense of, okay, now this is what happens when it flows, this is when it don't flow. Right now it ain't fucking flowing. But as long as you're addicted to the sensation, the strong, intense sensation of coming, of restriction, you're junkie. And that for you is bliss. I remember when I realized this. There was a particular kind of resistance, that was like crack for me. And for me, that was the highest high I could get. And I was somehow always looking for that. And always trying to create certain kind of dynamics with a woman. So it creates that perfect kind of tension that when I can get what I want, I was so fucking high. I was addicted to it. I remember watching myself be addicted to it. I'm like, well, I'm just a fucking junkie. Because it was shit. I felt like crap before. I got that crack feeling for a second, and then I felt like shit after. But I realized I'm really addicted to this. I want that particular fix. And it's all based on tension and a specific kind of like mental structure mixed with hers that creates some kind of like fetish tense. And it like pinches exactly the right spot. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's exactly the high I want. I'm addicted to that. That ain't got nothing to do with the flow. That's the perfection of non-flow. Or the perfection of being squeezed. When it's so perfect and your body has to eject in order to release itself because it's going to explode. So I was addicted to that. So I had to decondition myself, because when you're addicted to something, you love that. You want it all the time. If somebody proposes something better, for you it's not better. Even if, let's say I give you shit, but you're addicted to shit. If I give you water and roses, you'll be like, this is disgusting. I can't have that. You're addicted. Your addiction that addiction has to loosen up, which is a process in itself. So that you're not interested in that anymore because you prefer that. And that's the difference between a neophyte and a person who has more experiences. Now you have a better sense and a better taste of the flow itself. And you have now a comparison. Oh, that's when I get high. And that's the flow. And that creates, well, Even if I do get high and I know how to do it perfectly, it takes my energy. It doesn't inspire me. It doesn't make me want to continue tomorrow. It depresses me more than anything else. And somehow, some way, I just like humiliated myself. Now, here's a good thing. In the flow, you can have access to the high. It's perfectly polished, but it's there. This is a big conversation. Let's not go there for now. But the point is, that's how. So as a neophyte, you're lost. You're like a little child. If you leave a child in the middle of the city, he's fucked. So it's the same. You need some guidance. And the purpose of the guidance is to help you tap into that flow inside yourself so that you can have it. The flow becomes your teacher. And until you get established in the flow, or well established enough, that means you can ride, let's say, a wave. You can actually stand and take a wave from top to bottom, and you can go back and forth a couple of times. You're susceptible to get screwed over because unconsciously you're looking to check out. So there ain't nothing wrong with the fact that you want to get laid. I don't have no problem with that. It's why you want to get laid that could be problematic. Because maybe you just want to check out. Meaning I want to disconnect from the fact that I have to go from point A to point Z, and it's hard. So that's the beginner's mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a beginner's mindset. When you become more advanced and it's like learning anything. You don't know how to do it. It's very hard at start. You don't know how to move your fingers on the guitar string. Everything hurts. Then you gain enough experience that you can start to play, and there's a pleasure that comes. Because you can start to express yourself and communicate. Your learning totally shifts. Because now you have a sense of it. I get a taste of it. And I like that taste. I want more of that taste. It doesn't mean you're not still addicted to the high, but you're like, I have a point of comparison. Until you have a point of comparison, you don't even know what I'm talking about. That's why the guidance is so necessary. After that, after you start to get a point of comparison, the guidance changes form. It becomes, how can we learn faster? It's not like you have to drag a kid through like take a junkie and take him out of his junk. This is hell. It's the most unpleasant thing in the world. He's going to scream, yell, insult you, try to stab you, kill you. This is totally unpleasant. This is, for the most part, the relationship between a guide, a teacher, and a neophyte after the preliminary phase where we're polite with one another. When the student becomes a little more mature, there's no more fight. It becomes pleasant because the student understands the game and wants to master the game for himself, and the teacher is, let's say, 1, 10, 50, 100 million steps ahead, and it's like, okay, learn. So the receptivity totally changes, and it becomes a friendship that is undescribable. It's like, because we go faster. So at first is without the teacher, or without the guidance, you're fucked. And at second, it's like, well, it could take me forever. I don't want to take forever. I want to learn. I want to learn as fast as possible because this is a very long path. And I want to get the best of it. I want to make the best of it. And if you've been around and you've been guided, so you know exactly where all the best spots are. So why I'm not going to go with you? And on top of that, during that journey, you get moments on your own. Always. Where you can pitch your tent and enjoy Nookie if you'd like it. But you got your own alarm set because you know tomorrow we're going.